you looking for affordable office space in Marion? The Professional Building, located at 685 Delaware Avenue, is the place for you. For more information, call 740-383-6803. Office space is now available. Again, telephone number 740-383-6803.
Hey, Scott Spears with you here on Scott Spears Now, the 2012 Christmas edition. We're going to have a lot of fun today and might even be joined by that jolly old elf himself, Santa Claus. I think he might be headed this way. But until then, we've got a great group of guests for this year's holiday episode to discuss many holiday topics, as well as holiday trivia, holiday songs. It is a Christmas feast here this week. Joined in studio by Marion's I would say most famous restaurateur, George Kasotis, knows all about Greek things. We'll talk about that as the episode goes on, George.
We sure will, Scott. We sure will.
We'll get into it. Lynn Roberts, who was here with us recently on the program, just performed the Bob Hope Holiday Roadshow at the Marion Palace Theater to great attendance and great raves. His pal co-star in the Bob Hope Holiday Roadshow, Chuck Carson, and a great friend of mine, great friend of this show, the 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow. And Mary Ellen, at my behest, has brought some great holiday memories and items from years past from Washington. So that'll be a lot of fun to look at as this episode progresses. And we'll be joined by another special guest momentarily, so you won't want to go anywhere. But we're going to kick off this episode by talking about a few of the holiday issues that come up each and every year for each and every person, and see what this panel has to say about it. The one that I see all the time, do we still send Christmas cards? Because this year I have gotten fewer Christmas cards than ever before. It's been dwindling over the years, but this year, absolutely pretty much a drought so far. It's a thing of the past. George, I'm sure in your day when you were in business here in town, you sent out a lot of Christmas cards.
Every year we send out hundreds of cards. And I'm still getting cards today.
So you do still get a good amount.
We've got quite a few already.
Now, do you send them out every year?
Yes, my wife does.
That's the way to do it. Now, if you were up to your own, heaven forbid, George, would you send them out?
I think I would.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. But Joanne's always right there, you know. I forgot to tell you, Lynn, she's our Marion County auditor. An elected official like Mary Ellen was.
So she knows how to do paperwork.
Joanne is very good at that.
How many people would you say, do you see the list, George?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how many people are on your list every year?
Right now, I would say about 150.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't get one from you.
Oh, you didn't get
one? No. We'll talk about that
yes,
later.
You have.
No,
she sent one out.
See, that's going to be his answer, Mary Ellen, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
It didn't happen.
Maybe
All
it's
right.
in the mail.
It's in the mail. That's a good answer. It's in the mail. Lynn, do you do Christmas cards?
Well, as I say in my Bob Hope show, I love getting my Christmas cards early. That's what I was doing last night. I was up all night erasing. We still get a few Christmas cards, not like we used to, of course. And I get a lot of e-cards.
See, I want to ask about that.
The animated ones, and they're kind of fun, you know.
Do you like those?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because I've got two little great-grandchildren, and my little 5-year-old, she loves to come over. But the thing is, you get the same card from like maybe 15 or 20 people, you know.
That's exactly right. It's a copy and paste.
Yeah, but it's the thought behind it.
Is there much thought behind an e-card, do you think?
No, but I mean just the fact that they took the trouble to punch your, or to send you the mass mailing, you know, to everybody on their list. Yeah.
Chuck, what do you make of a Christmas card's dying art?
I believe so. I think that what Lynn mentioned, I think e-cards have taken the point away from what we used to do, and I think that Christmas cards, one of the things in particular is that the cost of cards has gone pretty high. Secondly, the cost of mailing has gone very high. And so this year, for the first time, we're doing a newsletter. So the mailing cost will be about the same, but we get these from friends every once in a while, and when you see people you haven't been around for a year, you send a little newsletter. It's only one page. It's not, self-sufficiency that you're telling them how great you are. Just a few things that are happening and what's going on with the family. So we're going to try that this year and see what happens.
How many do you get?
Normally, in a good year, about 60.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. What was it 10 years ago?
about 150.
Yeah. Have the computers ended this, or is it the generation that's ended it?
Well, I think our generation, the new generation, is probably more proficient in getting the e-cards out. But the older generation found out how to do it and saying, hey, what the heck, this is a lot quicker than getting in writing and pasting, so that's it.
But you know, I say it's all going to end up being along the line of what do we do when there's nothing left in our folders? We have no history because of emails.
Well, that's why I'm thinking that if you can maybe do these little newsletters, it is a historical fact about what you did for that past year. Very brief, but at least it's something to put in the record book.
But for the kids 25 and under, what are they going to do in 25, 30 years?
They're going to just say, gee, I wonder what Grandpa did.
I wonder what happened there. I wonder. Mary Ellen, I'm sure when you were in Washington, and maybe even when you were still here in Marion County, certainly Ohio Treasurer, a lot of cards went out.
Yes, in fact, I even drew a few of my cards, and but then when I was U.S. Treasurer, the Savings Bond Department put out a daily or a calendar that had the posters from the children's contest. Those posters were in the calendar, and it was really neat. And I would send those out, about 1,000 of them probably.
1,000?
Yeah.
Now, being that you were high up in government, well, first of all, how many did you get when you were in Washington?
Well,
Send
I
out
got-
1,000?
I don't know. I got a lot, you know.
How many do you get 10 years removed from that job?
Well, probably about 50. But now I have moved. I probably won't get very many this year. The way I operate, when I get a card, then I return with a card, and that way I keep my list current.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good way to do it.
Mhm.
Do you think your granddaughters and grandsons do it?
Who knows? You know, I think everybody has a different feeling about it that's younger. They probably wouldn't care about it. I don't know. I'd have to ask them.
Do you save your old Christmas cards?
No, I give them to a charitable organization.
What do you think it was about Christmas cards that was so important, but now is not so important? What has changed?
Well, just the whole system has changed. You remember when stamp price went up, everybody said they weren't going to send cards, but they did. And I think that sort of changed a lot of the thinking on sending cards when the price of stamps got around where it is, 48 or so. And it's something that is another thing you have to do at Christmas that I think we're trying to keep those things to a minimum because it gets too involved. You don't want to ruin your holiday doing things that are unnecessary.
You said if somebody sends you a Christmas card, you will reply back. If somebody sends you a Christmas email card, would you respond to that?
I don't know. I really don't care for the email cards at all. And when I send a Christmas card, I usually write something in the card and when somebody sends me a card that hasn't anything written in it, I really don't care for that.
See, I'm with you. Anytime I send a note or a card and I do a lot of emails, there's no doubt about it. But if I have to send something in the mail, I don't just send the Hallmark card. I write something. Because I think that's what people pay attention to in 20 years. I don't think it's the card. I think they pay attention to what you wrote.
That's right. Well, you know, most of the people aren't around. They don't know what I've been doing, and that's the purpose, I think, to communicate, to stay in touch. And I think getting a card from my next door neighbor is unnecessary. you know.
Because you see them all the
You're
time.
right.
Exactly.
You're
I just kind of look a glance of you here in our monitor, Marielle. You look very nice tonight. That is a very nice
Thank you.
top. Shows up very well. We're all dull here. We're all in the dull colors, and you stand right out there.
I just wanted to mention one thing about Christmas cards.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a very dear friend in Connecticut. We've exchanged the same card every year. He sends it to me, I put a new verse in, I send it back, and then the following year he'll send it to me again. So that's worked out pretty well.
Now,
That's
see,
good.
isn't
Fun.
yeah,
I
and
like that.
isn't that the thing? That's I thought Christmas cards were supposed to be tradition, not necessarily that we want to keep people up to date or even that we want to stay in touch. It's a tradition of like baking the
Right.
cookies every year
Right.
and all that. Why is tradition not important anymore? I don't want to say it's totally gone, but I'll tell you, people leave wedding receptions earlier than they used to, I've noticed. People don't send Christmas cards. Sometimes you don't get a birthday card with a gift. Not that you have to get a gift, but people used to just send cards sometimes.
Do you remember thank you cards? Many
you
people
cards?
don't even bother with that anymore.
Why are we less of a tradition? As the United States of America, I always felt we were sentimental. I don't think we're as sentimental anymore, and I'm not sure why.
We just gotten jaded.
Is that it? Does everybody seem to agree with that?
I mean, I think the older generation still believes in tradition, and even maybe our kids believe in tradition, but it's the children after that are having a tough time.
Well, then not to tie in the end of this, and it's not just now at Christmas time, but how has technology changed us as a whole? It's such a big whopping question that everybody's asking now between cell phones and smartphones and laptops and video games and everything. As a whole, George, and kind of targeted at Christmas, how has this technology changed us in the world?
It has changed us. It has completely changed us. But still, I'm back to the old, like, tradition, you know? Tradition. I love tradition.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important. Lynn, how has technology turned us around?
Well, I think with the younger generation, boy, am I sounding old now. Anybody under 50 is the younger generation. But I know with my own grandkids, they are so into their video games, and they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. You go into a restaurant, and you'll see a family of 5 or 6 people. They sometimes even the parents are all sitting there with their smartphone, or they're all texting somebody. They're not paying attention to the good Greek food that's in the restaurant. They're not, and you know, and they don't. They're not in tune with what's happening, and also I think the teenagers have a lot of rebellion against their parents' and grandparents' world, and that's another reason they're trying to just shed the tradition and do their own thing.
And it's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened. Chuck, technology, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. But what has it done to us?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm all for technology. Believe me that in the days before we had computers and printers and the ability to do things on your computer, I would spend a fortune in going out and getting promotional packages printed so for our shows and things. Now I can do that myself in my own little office, and I can turn out the best product you can ever see. So I love technology that way. What I think technology has done as far as cell phones, smartphones, anything, the texting, it's taken away the art of conversation. That's why when you go to a restaurant, you don't see, even if you just see 2 people sitting there, hardly do you ever see them speaking to one another, even if they're older. They just kind of sit and look at one
My
another.
apologies to all.
And
My apologies to all.
our special guest has arrived here, and he's going to be with us right after. No, this was good. Now, that was a surprise join.
Yes,
It's
yes.
the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams. He will be with us. He's going to join the table.
with an
Look
update.
at that.
With an
Look at
update.
that. Right after this break. We'll be right back.
Listen up, Central Ohio. This is Ted Williams, the man with the God-given golden voice. And the Christmas shopping season is here. But the economy is still in a little mess. Locally owned Retrofoam of Central Ohio understands that. And that's why Retrofoam wants to give you $1,000 cash. You heard me right. $1,000 cash right away for your holiday shopping. Here's how it works. Call Retrofoam at 740-360-4144 or go to retrofoamofcentralohio.com. Meet with one of their certified professionals. Book your home installation job before December 31st and take advantage of Retro Foam's 18 months same as cash. That's it. You get paid the day of the job. Again, book your home by December 31st and start saving up to 50% on all your energy bills. Owe nothing for the 18 months and get $1,000 right away. Just one more reason why you will say Retro Foam doesn't cost, it pays.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you here on Scott Spears Now, the Holiday Special 2012. Joined in studio by Lynn Roberts, Chuck Carson, who are currently touring the country with the Bob Hope Road Show. 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, longtime Marion restaurateur, George Casotis, and now joining us, the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams. We're always happy when he's around. Ted, how are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me.
What's
Such
been...
a renowned panel
Well,
here.
you add to the group. What's new? What's been going on with you?
Well, I was just showing everyone here that I was involved in a documentary promoting mental health and wellness. And there are so many people that have pretty much lost their way in life because of certain bipolar tendencies or whatever. They didn't address it, and that's the bottom line, you know. And it's early detection of deteriorated mental health, you know, can cause a lot of people to fulfill some of their dreams, you know. Wellbutrin is what most people are recommended to take, you know, as far as focus. I'll leave it at that.
Well, it's a sad part to bring up here on a holiday special, but it's the truth that
yeah.
more people are depressed at this time of year than any other time of year.
Absolutely right.
And I believe more suicides happen this time of year between Thanksgiving and Christmas than any other time, which is sad because I think people don't have money for their families and people have passed away.
Mental health.
Well, you know, here's the thing, Ted, from a man who was on the street. I mean, everybody knows your story. Less than 2 years ago, what were the holidays like?
Very empty, but not in spirit, just empty as far as the purpose of holidays, you know.
Were the holiday times more depressing than the rest of the year?
Well, yeah, there was no gatherings in my life at all. You know, it was just me.
It's tough. It's tough.
And my higher power.
Yeah. Lynn, you know, as we talk about something like this, what can you do at the holiday time if you are a little better off, in a little better position, still have your family, having a good time, for those maybe who aren't?
That's a tough question. I've never been in that position such as you were. In fact, I don't even personally know anybody, you know, until I've met you now that was in that situation. I know it's kind of interesting because being an entertainer, I'm very often working on the holidays and that type of thing. But I know a lot of people that go down and donate their time serving at food kitchens for Salvation Army or
Giving socks.
St. Vincent de Paul and giving socks.
Yeah.
And is Santa going to fill those socks
Yes, sir.
on Christmas?
Yes, I hope.
That's what I thought. But that is I probably feel a little selfish about that because, as I say, I've never donated my time or something like that to people that are in need like that. So now you made me guilty.
No guilt on the holidays. Chuck, when you drive through town, and it happens in every town, every city in America, you know, there are homeless shelters, there are coats for Christmas, there are toys for kids at Christmas. A lot of that going on. What does it make you think about when you come across something like that?
Well, before I give you that thought, Ted's the first man that made me feel like a boy soprano.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, as the announcer of the, I understand.
You know, I'm supposed to be playing an announcer, and all of a sudden, hi! But I do feel that the spirit of Christmas is with children, and we try to do whatever we can. There are a couple of battered women's shelters where children and families are, so we will make sure that we get something to them, whether it be a turkey or we take over some gifts. That's where my heart goes.
You know, it's something very interesting, Chuck, a little off topic here, but when I went to the road show today, and you did two commercials, retro commercials,
Right.
in the show for Kraft.
Right.
Ted is the current spokesperson for
For
Kraft.
Kraft?
For Kraft. Do you remember any of those old Kraft commercials? Could
Oh.
you give us a little bit?
Well, the one was the Kraft cheese spreads, and you can get yourself, instead of having to worry about people coming in, you just take your 6 glasses of cheese spreads, put them on the table. Open a box of Ritz crackers, and you've got a perfect complimentary meal. So enjoy Kraft, K-R-A-F-T, Kraft.
Now that's a
All
Kraft.
right.
Now that's a Kraft commercial from what year? Ted, would you say?
That was 1942, because it was also included, in that same commercial, I say, and don't remember, it's only 2 ration points for the Kraft.
Now that's a Kraft commercial from 1942. Ted, in 2012, what's a Kraft commercial's tagline?
You know you love it.
There you go. So that's how it's changed over the
Oh,
years.
boy, I'm just so happy.
Mary Ellen,
They
that,
do microwavable bowls now.
they do have those
Microwavable bowls.
microwaves. Mary Ellen,
Mac and cheese.
as we were, we'll just sit here and talk about macaroni and cheese the rest of the time. Mary Ellen, tell me about, at the holiday time, what you can do for the less fortunate.
Oh, well, charity is, I think, a lot goes on with charity at this time of year. And you think about them more, I think, at this time of year. And the churches and everyone that's involved in getting contributions that people are trying to help. It's a time when you think about income tax, and you'd rather give it to charity than you would to, income tax. So that's the thinking, I think, there.
I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we are going to take another break here. We have got an interesting story from California about Christmas trees, retirement homes. Will they let them have them? We're going to find out. We're going to talk about that. Lynn has another song, another Christmas song, a Bob Hope special coming up. Santa Claus, I think I've heard reindeer hooves on the roof here of the studio. We have got a lot coming up in this episode, and a trivia contest, a holiday trivia contest. You won't want to go anywhere. Stick around. We'll be right back.
From the Martha Dowse Dance Studios, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year from our family to yours.
And I want to say the same thing. Merry, Merry Christmas. And you spell Merry Christmas M-A-R-Y. Without her, we would not have the baby Jesus.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you. I feel like Dick Clark on New Year's Eve now, holding the microphone here, but we do that so we can see everybody's face here on the holiday special, and we have got a table today. It feels like Christmas dinner here. We've got the table set. We've got the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams here, Lynn Roberts, Bob Hope, actor extraordinaire, who travels with a lot of great characters, Jimmy Durante, Red Skelton, Jack Benny, just to name a few. His cohort in that program, Chuck Carson, former broadcaster and actor, does a lot of great things. 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, and longtime Marian restaurateur and Greek, George Kassotis. We are going to talk about a story that was in the news recently. Oh, and Santa Claus could be along. Stick with us for that. This was in the news just recently. I want to get everybody's take on this. Residents of a senior center in California staged a protest after the management of their building announced a ban on Christmas trees and menorahs in communal areas. JB Partners Group sent a memorandum to the Willows Inn Newhall, California, ordering them to remove the Christmas tree from the community room as they deemed it a religious symbol. Lynn, what do you make of that? Ho, ho, ho.
Bah humbug.
Out there in California.
Bah humbug to those guys.
Yeah.
Well, I feel, whatever your religious belief is, you should be allowed to put up your decorations or symbols or whatever it is, and everybody else should be willing to tolerate it. That's my feeling.
Chuck, what do you think?
I know it's not popular.
Well,
I think it might be. I think it's more popular than you think.
I mean, who wants to open presents that are under the Christmas plunger?
There you go.
So I think that, again, it's tradition. We talked about that earlier, and tradition just means For Hanukkah, you want to have your menorah, and then for Christmas, you've got your tree. And it's just a community involvement on a tradition. It doesn't have to become, even though, a lot of us look at it as a religious symbol, it's not even having the nativity scene, for goodness sake. It's only a Christmas tree.
Mary Ellen, the management comes in. This senior center wants their tree. They want their menorah. Apparently, the tree's the big fight right now. Apparently, the menorah wasn't up yet. But they say no. Not in communal areas. Now, is there something to, if you want a tree, you can have it in your room?
Well, I don't know why you can't have both. I mean, what's the problem? If they put the menorah up, isn't everybody going to be happy?
I don't know. I think this group's stance, certainly not mine, is that no, that they are religious figures. Yeah, something about, well, it's religious.
Problem makers.
Well, atheists just don't want anybody to have any kind of a religion. That's what they're...
Maybe that's the group who's running this business as atheists. George, do you see any problem with it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I come from the old school. Tradition is still in our family and has been for many, many years. I was carried through Ellis Island by my mother, and from the old country. I was, over there. And we almost got held up in Marseille, France. I could have been born of French Greek, but we went, because they held us up, they held the boat up, and then finally they said, the Fortunas are over, let's go to America. So I was born here in America, and I believe in tradition. And we just have a great time.
You know why they held you up? They were taking down the trees. They wanted to make sure there were no trees or menorahs on that boat. Ted, what do you make of a story like this?
I don't see why anybody would put any energy into trying to dredge up such opposition to what he said, tradition. Why would you take time to just try to discredit anything about the holiday to a group of people who would like to express it the way they, want to or have been?
The thing about this that I couldn't understand, I mean, menorahs are, I think most people will say is a religious figure, but I've never heard that a tree had anything to do with religion. In fact, I thought that along with other, like Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph, were considered not is a tree considered a religious?
Well, it depends on what's on it. If, there could be some religious figures on the tree, but if there isn't, I don't see what could be determined there.
Decoration.
Well, they call it a holiday tree. Then you've taken away all of the problems.
That's a segue. That's a segue. If I've ever seen one, you know what? In the last 10 years, we've had this fight. You cannot, I don't know what the thing is this year in Walmart, but you cannot say Merry Christmas. You can only say Happy Holidays. Now, other stores have adopted that. You can't say Merry Christmas. We don't put Merry Christmas on gift cards or anything. It's always Happy Holidays. If you ask them, they'll say, I think, that because we're trying to encompass New Year's, I think is what they'll say. Other people say different, that they just they don't want to focus in on Merry Christmas so they can appeal to maybe people of Jewish faith, Kwanzaa things going on. Xmas. Well, Ted, is it a problem to say Merry Christmas? And if you aren't celebrating Christmas, is that a big deal that somebody said Merry Christmas to you?
Happy holidays is sufficient.
I think the problem with all of the big stores is we're a litigious society, and that's what they're worried about more than they're worried about morality or anything else. It's not getting sued. That's the bottom line.
Did somebody really sue along the way because somebody said Merry Christmas?
Who knows?
I mean,
That's pretty bad.
Is that where we are? I mean, is that where we've come from?
It certainly isn't going to surprise me if it happens.
It doesn't shock me any that people would do that. Mary Ellen, do you say Merry Christmas or do you say Happy Holiday?
I say Merry Christmas. And I just want to mention that when I was in the Treasury, it was Happy Holidays because there were mostly Jewish people working there.
Now, if you went to those people of Jewish faith and said Merry Christmas, would it have been a problem?
No, I did a few times, because I was so used to saying Merry Christmas. No, it's no problem. They were just fine with it. But, I think that I just looked at who had a menorah in their home when I visited, and who would notice my Jewish book that I had on my coffee table, because just about everybody in Treasury was Jewish.
You know, I know the perfect person to ask this question of because I believe he's here. Santa Claus? Santa Claus, are you here? I can hear him coming around the bend. Oh, look at this. Coming right through the door here. Now there is a celebrity.
Hugs from the
Hug from the big man at Christmas time himself.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
See, you don't have a lawsuit. Somebody call a lawyer. He didn't say happy holidays. All in the same
What
show.
more could you want?
Couldn't ask for much more.
Santa Claus, you said Merry Christmas. Do you say that to every little boy and girl?
I say that to everyone. I mean it from my heart, Merry Christmas. But if I were to run into a child that had an issue with that, I would have no problem saying Happy Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever they would prefer.
You're Santa.
It's Christmas time is about the children, and there is a totally deeper meaning, and we all know that gets into religious beliefs, but when it comes right down to it, it's all about the children, and it's all about how much fun they can have, and just seeing the big smiles and the eyes light up when they get that perfect toy at Christmas time.
Giving.
You can't trade that for any amount of money or any amount of anything. There's nothing that replaces the joy on a child's face on Christmas morning.
Well, I tell you what, Santa Claus, why don't you sit on that stool over there and join us? We'll include you in the conversation here, because when you get Santa Claus on your show, you don't tell him to leave.
Scott, can I interject a story?
Go right ahead.
Well, this is my favorite Santa story because years ago when I was part owner of a booking agency, and we did a lot of Santas, and occasionally I would put on my fake beard and I'd go out. Well, it was one of the earliest shows of Santa that I did. It was at a large company, about 40 kids, and they opened the doors. I was sitting in the throne by the tree, and the one little girl led the pack. She was about 5, and she ran up to about 3 feet from me and stopped with her eyes that big. And I said, well, come on, sit on Santa's lap. She says, I can't do that. We're Jewish. So I said, well, all right, that's fine. So she stood to the side until I'd gone through the 40 other kids. She was still there. And I says, are you sure you don't want to come tell Santa something? And she looked around, came, climbed up on my lap, and she says, you know, we don't believe in you because we're Jewish. And I said, well, that's all right. And I was going to give her the candy cane anyway. And she says, I said, we don't believe in you, but my friend next door believes in you, and I left my list at her house.
There you go.
That's my favorite Santa story.
I love it. I love it. And I don't know if the audience heard me earlier on or if you've just joined the program, but Lynn is going to be singing a Christmas classic, a Bob Hope Christmas classic before this program's over. And Mary Ellen Withrow has brought a few Christmas treats from her years in Washington. That's going to be great. Before we do that, though, I do want to go around the table here. Favorite Christmas carol? Santa Claus, what's your favorite?
Santa Claus is coming to town.
That's a good one. Ted, favorite Christmas song?
Oh Holy Night.
That's a good one. Lynn?
Probably Silent Night.
Silent Night's a
Yeah.
great one.
Silent Night.
Silent Night.
Oh, Holy Night.
Oh, Holy Night.
Christmas is here, bring on the cheer, the carol of the bells.
Yeah.
Carol of the Bells. I like the Christmas song. You know, a lot of those have a religious background, so it's kind of interesting. We are going to take the next commercial break. We're going to come back. Santa Claus is going to stick with us. Lynn is going to sing a Christmas Bob Hope classic. We're going to see Mary Ellen's great treasures from her years in Washington at this time of year. And we've got the trivia contest before this Christmas episode is through. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Ted Williams, the man with the God-given golden voice, and I'm inviting you to the second annual Charlie Fulton Fan Appreciation Weekend. It's all taking place WrestleMania weekend, April 6th and 7th at the American Legion Post 584, located on Olney Avenue in Marion. You can look forward to door prizes, raffles, and a grand prize drawing for a championship belt, along with a chance to get photos and pictures with well-known pro wrestling legend Charlie Fulton. Tickets are $5 and can be purchased at the door or by calling 740-802-4337. In addition, pizza and pop will be served at no additional charge. This event is sponsored in part by Buckeye Lanes, located at 126 South Prospect Street in Marion. Telephone number 740-387-8874, serving Marion for over 85 years. You can't miss the wrestling fun when it comes to Marion in April 2013. Don't miss it.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you on this year's 2012 Scott Spears Now Christmas special, joined in studio by the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams. Santa Claus has joined us. Lynn Roberts, Chuck Carson, Mary Ellen Withrow, George Casotis. The air is starting to drift out of the room now. We're all going to get a little nutty. Lynn is going to perform truly a Bob Hope classic, derivated from one of his movies. I believe Lemon Drop Kid, if I have that right, and we're gonna get to that in just one second. But Mary Ellen Withrow has been kind enough, at my request, to bring some great memorabilia from her years in Washington at Christmas time, and she'll tell us about that now.
Yes, I don't know if you can pick up on these. That's Abraham Lincoln. That was the 1999 White House Christmas ornament. I've got a reflection there. There's each year the White House Historical Society puts out an ornament, and the Treasury Historical Society puts out an ornament, but they don't do it anymore. That's came to a halt. This is the Bureau. This is the Comptroller's emblem. This was in. I can't remember the year here. I have to always look.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, the year is unimportant. Yeah.
Wish you could see it like we're seeing it right now. It's a different kind of beauty.
Scott, why don't
Can
you
see
hold it
there?
up?
Oh, that shows up. Yeah. Now this is the 1997 ornament, and this is when Franklin Pierce was president. The way the White House looked. This is the 200-year celebration of the White House, and this is the bicentennial for the United States Mint. Yeah, this was done back in 1992. And we have George Washington here. This was a White House ornament. It's
Isn't that great?
yeah.
Look at those.
There. Yeah.
Have
Now-
you actually hung any of them?
Yeah. They're usually on a tree, but this year they're not.
Oh.
Now, do you have a favorite,
Wow, that-
Mary Ellen?
Well, yes, I have. I don't have it with me. It's the door to the cash room, which is my favorite.
Mine too.
Now, you got to watch out for George here. I think he slipped one of these in his
It's
pocket in his
George.
shirt here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Putting the covers on.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we are going to drift now into a great holiday tune derivated from the Lemon Drop Kid, performed by Lynn Roberts here. Tell us a little more about it than I did, Lynn.
Well, this song, as you say, is from the Lemon Drop Kid. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the movie, but Bob Hope plays the part of the Lemon Drop Kid, and he was a gambler and got in a lot of trouble, and then he started they call it the Old Dolls Home. It was for older ladies that were kind of on the street, and they opened up this thing, but it was all interwoven with this plot with the mob and gangsters and gambling and this type of thing.
Damon Runyon, right?
I think so.
Started the original story.
Yeah, and then so then this song, Silver Bells, and Bing Crosby, even though Bob Hope introduced it first and did the recording, the Bing Crosby recording is one that kind of skyrocketed because he had more notoriety as a singer than Bob.
Here we go. Silver Bells, a classic holiday tune.
Christmas makes you feel emotional. It may bring parties or thoughts devotional. Whatever happens or what may be, here is what Christmas time means to me. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. People passing, children laughing, meeting smile after smile, and on every street corner you'll hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasures. See the kids bunch, hear the snow crunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all this bustle, you'll hear, join me, silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Merry Christmas.
Happy. That's right. Make sure you get it in. I tell you what, that was great. What a classic song that is. Will put you in the holiday spirit. We're going to come back with a quick trivia contest and then a group. We're going to do a number again all together before it's over. It's going to be the Christmas song. You'll have to come back for this. Don't miss it. We'll be right back.
Listen up, Central Ohio. This is Ted Williams, the man with the God-given golden voice. And the Christmas shopping season is here. But the economy is still in a little mess. Locally owned Retrofoam of Central Ohio understands that. And that's why Retrofoam wants to give you $1,000 cash. You heard me right. $1,000 cash right away for your holiday shopping. Here's how it works. Call Retrofoam at 740-360-4144 or go to retrofoamofcentralohio.com. Meet with one of their certified professionals. Book your home insulation job before December 31st and take advantage of Retrofoam's 18 months same as cash. That's it. You get paid the day of the job. Again, book your home by December 31st and start saving up to 50% on all your energy bills. Owe nothing for the 18 months and get $1,000 right away. Just one more reason why you will say Retrofoam doesn't cost, it pays.
Hey, Scott Spears, having a great time at this 2012 holiday special. We just got done singing a song off our first album, Silver Bells, and you'll just have to wait for the second. Boy, Lynn is a great performer, isn't he, guys? I mean, my goodness, it's a wonderful. Brings a lot. Absolutely. And I tell you what, before we finish off with our big number, I do want to do this holiday trivia kind of little contest here. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to read the question, and then just raise your hand if you know the answer. You give the right answer, we'll see who gets more right around this table by the end of this program. And George, don't you look at my notes over here, because I can see how close you are. Here we are.
Not too good at trivia, but
Just raise your hand before you give the answer. Here we, and I'll try to, and you keep an eye out over here. My camera person will keep an eye out to see whose hand goes up first. In A Christmas Carol, who was Scrooge's dead business partner? Chuck.
Marley.
That's exactly right, Jacob Marley. Chuck's up one. Number 2, the song White Christmas was first...
Holiday
Oh, now,
Inn.
that's right.
What was it?
Was first performed in what
Holiday
1942 film? Holiday Inn. That's
He's a
exactly.
psychic.
He's a psychic. He's reading my mind. The song. Oh no, wait. 12 days of in the 12 days of Christmas, my true love brought what to me on day 9? Santa Claus.
I'm Lords of Leap.
Not Lords of Leaping. It's 10 Lords of Leaping. What was day 9? Anybody know what day 9 was?
9 golden hens?
Not 9 golden hens. Anybody else gonna? Ted, what do you think?
Maids of milk.
8 maids of milking. Boy, 9's just the elusive one.
Yeah.
Anybody? We'll give
9
it.
holes of golf.
5 golden rings.
Lynn, you want to venture a guess here? What was 9?
Wow. Got me on that one.
Mary Ellen, any idea?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a tough one. Ted, any idea?
Well, no, I
This-
got 5 golden rings. That's
This,
all I
this will go down. Ladies dancing.
Oh.
9 ladies dancing.
Oh.
Here we go. Question number 4. Name. Now this is going to be a big one. Name the original 8 reindeer. Santa Claus.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen.
That's
wasn't
exactly
fair.
right. Well, if anybody would know, it'd be Santa Claus. SC.
I thought it was Donner and Nixon.
let me just say real quick 5 golden rings ghetto style.
Okay, go ahead.
5 golden rings, 4 hand grenades, 3 switchblades, 2 turtle doves, and a Japanese army tank.
Now, if that's not a holiday tune, I've never heard one. That is something else. Oh, this is a tough one. We'll see if anybody gets this. What color are the berries on a mistletoe plant? Santa Claus. Not red.
White.
Green.
White.
Oh,
White.
right. Oh.
It is right. Chuck got that one. In which modern country is St. Nicholas's birthplace and hometown?
Russia.
Not Russia, but that's a good guess.
Greenland,
Czechoslovakia.
Not Greenland, not Czechoslovakia, not Finland.
Nova Scotia.
I figured this would be a tough one. Any guess, George?
North Pole.
Not the North. That's a good one. No.
Cambridge.
Any guess, Mary Ellen?
Germany?
That's a good. It's Turkey.
Oh.
Turkey was the
I
answer.
was going to say Constantinople.
Thank you, Alex, for that.
What's the name of George Bailey's guardian angel? Chuck.
Clarence.
Clarence is right.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you.
Couch potato.
He's gonna.
He's winning here.
I know, it's going to be hard to come back, but we got 3 questions here. This is, okay, now the hands all should go up on this one. Who wrote How the Grinch Stole Christmas? Santa Claus. Oh, Santa Claus might take this in the end.
Yeah, he's coming
it's gonna
fast.
be, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, but the reindeer.
The reindeer,
Yeah.
he took one out
He
there.
can just get one for the reindeer, or you get...
We'll give him 8. We'll give him 8. From which country does the poinsettia originate? Chuck.
England.
Not England.
No.
More specific.
Brazil.
Panama?
Not Panama, not Peru. We're
Chile.
south of the not Chile, no.
Argentina.
Not Argentina. No.
Belize?
Not Belize.
Mexico.
Mexico. That's exactly right. He took one out of
Should
there.
have thought that through. That's where it should come.
Well, I tell you what, we are going to now. This I'm just going to. The winner is going to be declared by the final question here, and here we go. This is a chance for everybody to come back. This question's worth 20 points. How many points does a snowflake have?
12.
Where do you get these questions?
Lynn, not 7,
No?
not 8,
12.
not 12.
I got you.
Anybody can take it here.
21.
Bam.
That's a pretty
6,
prickly
yeah.
snow. 6, 6.
Yeah, you
6.
said it too, didn't
Well, I think we've got a tie here. It'll have to be Mary Ellen and Chuck win the trivia Christmas contest. You know what? Before we take a break and come back with the final rundown here with the Christmas song with the whole cast, I do want to ask everybody what they are doing and what they are expecting for Christmas this year. Ted, what's going on this
I'm
year?
getting it together with the family and having a great time again. This will be 2 years since this divine blessing in my life. And so I'm having a great time during this holiday. And I'm going out on the freeway ramps and trying to find some guys out there holding signs and giving them packages of socks. And with me today,
Great.
not that I'm asking this group of people, but what I'm doing is signing a little novelty. I do have a 501c charity, the Ted Williams Project, which is doing fairly well. But I'm signing these little personal caricature pictures.
Ah, very nice.
And, for any donation to buy packages of socks. I can't tell any of y'all how much important it is for a brand new pair of socks to be on a person who really, really might not have them on.
What a great job, Ted.
I
That's
don't wanna-
wonderful.
I don't want to be like the cop, though, and get acknowledgement in that,
Right.
for putting shoes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
And then the poor guy couldn't wear the shoes. He was afraid he's going to get robbed. You know, he took the shoes off. He's
And
back.
took them back and got the money and went and had a great time barefooted somewhere.
So on and so forth. Santa Claus, you'll be busy Christmas Eve, I'm sure.
Very, very busy.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Lynn, what's the Christmas plans?
Well, the family always comes over on Christmas Eve, and I do have my daughter who does Mrs. Santa Claus, and I promised her I would drive her to this house visit she's doing. Since I talked her into doing it, she wasn't really that anxious.
Very nice. Chuck, Christmas.
Every year we get the family and friends over to our house, and I cook a standing rib roast, and that's the annual celebration. So I look forward to cooking, and it's just a great time, and we're all there, friends and family.
Very nice. Mary Ellen?
Well, I'm looking forward to spending Christmas in Marion. You know, I came back a year ago and have had a lot of fun being in Marion again, and so I'm going to really enjoy Christmas this year.
Should be fun. George, Christmas this year?
Christmas this year, family, friends, and come over to my house. I'm just cooking, and I have a nice meal for them. And we also had a church thing at midnight. We go to church and light a candle, say a prayer, and say, hey, hallelujah, we're all together.
Before we get out of here, is there anything special about a great Christmas? I did want to ask you that.
Now, the term is called Kala Christoulina. Christoulina means Christmas in Greek, and we all have a nice, warm get-together on Christmas Eve.
Very nice. Very nice. And I'll be with family also, having a great time. But before we get out of here, we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back and I'll sing the Christmas song. And I hope you sing at home with us because you'll be just as good as we are. Be back with the close-up on Christmas 2012 right after this.
And he oozes.
From the Martha Douse Dance Studios, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year from our family to yours.
And I want to say the same thing. Merry, Merry Christmas. And you spell Merry Christmas M-A-R-Y. Without her, we would not have the baby Jesus.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you on Scott Spears Now Christmas 2012 edition. We are having a lot of fun. Look at this group. We've got the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, Santa Claus right here to my right, Lynn Roberts, Mr. Bob Hope, along with many other characters, his compadre, Chuck Carson, broadcaster, actor, all kinds of great things, entrepreneur, that's certainly true. 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, the lady in between all these men today, the rose in the thorn bush today, and George Casotis. We are going to sing a holiday classic to sign off this year's program. It was originally written by Mel Torme, and he did it within like an hour or two. He's very prolific. It's been sung by everybody many times, and I do want to say this before we get out of here, that Christmas is in your heart. I mean, I know a lot of people out there this time of year have lost family members and maybe don't have the money to spend that they would like to spend on all those gifts, but it doesn't come from a box. I sound like Dr. Seuss now. It comes from inside your heart. It's a special time of year, and I hope you spend it with your family, which doesn't have to be blood. It can be a family of any kind. Let's start the music.
Give me a little holiday smile. Here we go. Happy holidays.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe
Happy holidays.
makes the season very bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa is on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies in his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
To you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, happy holiday! Merry Christmas!